always a treat to be with my good buddy Todd Stiddelberg, Mr. Antler King himself. Todd, one of the things working for Jake Seed Company back when I was in college as a sunflower breeder's research technician taught me is how to be a glorified migrant worker. The other thing it taught me was how to develop sunflowers, and that every seed is not the same. Every single white clover out there has been bred for different reasons. The brassica family is huge, and you can get a purple top turnip that's desirable early, and you can get one that's desirable real late. Todd, how do you select the perfect seeds?
You know, there's a lot that goes into our blends, you know, the amount of research, the amount of time, the amount of varieties that we have used. Our honey hole's a great example. You know, there's people say, you know, deer won't eat brassicas until you get a frost. Well, that's not the case. There are varieties they will, you know, that they'll eat in August and September, and there's varieties they eat later. So how would I choose the variety to use on my property? First of all, I'm going to do a variety, kind of the smorgasbord, okay? I wouldn't just say I'm going to plant chicory or I'm just going to plant red clover. You know, I'm going to plant a bunch of different varieties, as many as I can, simply because deer, they don't necessarily focus on one particular variety and eat that plant year-round. They pick and choose.
Well, their nutritional needs are changing throughout the year, heck, throughout the season.
Yes.
And their diet, they try to change it with them to address those needs, do they not?
Exactly. And so I'm going to try to provide as many different varieties, as many different food sources as possible. I'm certainly going to have clovers there. I'm certainly going to have chicory. I'm going to have brassicas. I'm going to have cereal rye and so on. And, you know, but I'm also probably going to be planting some trees too, you know, utilizing as much space on my land as possible for food.
Well, and that is, I mean, yes, we are talking specifically food plots here, but that is such an incredibly good point. Most people don't see those trees behind us as potential deer food. What do you think they survived on before we were here?
Yep.
You know, before we started farming all these acres, the Native Americans were not putting out food plots for deer.
No. In logging, you know, logging's great for a property. It lets more sunlight down into the floor. You get more forbs, you get more grasses, you get just more food growing. Plus, if you got a logger there and they bring in a dozer to make some logging roads or whatever, have him push some additional land so you do have some additional food plots.
Excellent.
You know, one of the largest costs is just getting his equipment there, with the cost of you know, having a semi and bringing that dozer in and fuel and so on. So once he's there, utilize it.
And you alluded to, I'm pretty sure you were alluding to another point as well, and that is, hey, clover's awesome, but there are points during that year where it is more desirable than other points. Alfalfa, great choice for early, but you know what, after it hits a couple of those frosts, you know, in other words, virtually every food source out there has its peaks and valleys in desirability and nutritional content. And they're not all peaking at the same time. If you want to have the best nutrition, you have to have a smattering of foods that address those windows, do you not?
You know, Steve, it gets back to, I always tell people, when I think of food plots and so on, think 24/7, 365. Don't focus on spring food. Don't focus on summer, fall, winter. It's got to be year-round, okay?
It sure does help.
Yep. And the last thing I want to do is not have food on a property and give a deer a reason to leave.
Exactly.
Because I always believe that if they leave, I may never see them again.
And you're 100%, this is what I liked about you addressing the timber. You're right, not everybody can go ahead, not every hunting property can go ahead and clear a food plot, has the acres for this, but most of them have trees on.
Exactly.
And that is a food source that so many people ignore. Todd, thank you for making us smarter yet again today. Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth. So what I'm hearing you say, Todd, is on limited acres, what you do is you, try to look at it as much as you can of a 365 and offer a smorgasbord of food sources, because no one food source out there is a deer's favorite year-round. White oak acorns, everybody knows how much they like. Do they like them when they're wormy? Do they like them when they're up in the tree? Do they like them when a frost comes through and wipes out that year's complete crop? There is not such thing as that one food source that deer are going to eat 24/7 all year round, and the way you address it is you offer them everything you can that they want in awesome soils.
100%. Yeah,
Beautiful.
exactly.